Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're talking about when the Roth TSP, when using the Roth TSP makes no sense at all. Now, if you're new here, welcome. So good to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who helps federal employees retire, get the most out of their benefits, and retire confident every day, and I absolutely love it. So let's dive right in. Generally speaking, in the finance world, especially online, everyone loves to do this is the best thing to do, this is the worst thing to do, you should always use the Roth TSP, you should always take Social Security at 62, and on and on and on. There's always you have to do this or you can't do this or this is terrible. And in reality, life is in the gray zone. Everything's in the gray zone. It just depends, right? And the Roth TSP is the same thing. The Roth TSP can be a great tool if it makes sense, but there are many cases it simply doesn't. Now, here's the deal. I will admit, I am a huge fan of the Roth TSP. Huge fan. And if everyone on the world, if I had to give advice to everyone that everyone had to take, I would say use the Roth TSP. Okay, I think it applies to more people to use the Roth than it does traditional. That being said, there are some cases when you should definitely not use the Roth TSP, where it doesn't make any sense. So, if you are new to this concept of traditional TSP versus Roth TSP, let me talk you through the basics. The traditional TSP is the default. That is what, if you do nothing, if you never change it, your money is going to go in the traditional TSP. When you put money into the traditional TSP, you get a tax deduction. So it looks like this. If your salary is $100,000, if that's your gross salary, let's say your taxable income, okay? If your taxable income is $100,000 and you put in $10,000, okay? Let's say you put in $10,000 into the traditional TSP, you pay taxes as if you only made $90,000, okay? This $10,000 in traditional TSP contributions, it's tax deductible. Tax deductible. That is the traditional TSP. That's what most people use. However, what does the Roth TSP look like? Well, it's actually the opposite. This $10,000, if you put that into the Roth TSP, not tax deductible, and your taxable income would still be $100,000. Okay? So why on earth would someone use the Roth TSP if they don't get the tax deduction? Well, the tax benefit happens on the back end. Okay? Let me walk you through it. So let's say you did the first scenario I showed, which is you did the traditional TSP, which is what most people do. So you put the $10,000 in, okay? $10,000 in, and it grows. Now it's worth, let's say, $50,000, okay? Let's say it's worth $50,000. What happens when you take that $50,000 out? Well, the entire $50,000 is taxable income. The initial $10,000 you got the deduction on, and all the growth that happened in there as well. All the growth as well. Okay? Now, what if we did the Roth TSP? If $10,000 went into the Roth and it grew to $50,000, how much of that $50,000 is taxable? Zero. Zero of it. It is completely tax-free when it comes out in retirement. So that's the game. Do you want the tax deduction now, or do you want tax-free income later? Which one do you want? So here's the deal. When does it make sense? People can really make this question really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Here are some principles to think about. If you are early in your career, you probably should do Roth. And here's why. Your income's probably going to go up a lot over time, and you've got a long time for this tax-free money to compound and to grow and to get you more tax-free money. So if you're early or middle of your career, probably should do Roth. You don't have to, but if it was me, I would, right? I would. Because you have lots of time to do it. And again, I'm a young person, right? And all my investments are going into Roth whenever possible, okay? Roth whenever possible, okay? So here's the deal. If you're early, middle of your career, the principle is, hey, probably Roth. There's always exceptions, always, but probably Roth. Now, if you're near the end of your career, at the peak earning years of your career, maybe don't do Roth, right? Maybe don't do Roth. And numbers and cents-wise, this is the crux of it. Do you think you're going to be in a higher or lower tax bracket later, right? And most people say, hey, look, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. I'm going to take the tax deduction now because I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. And that is simply not true for most federal employees. It's not. Most federal employees are in the same tax bracket, okay? And what if tax brackets go up? What if the rules change? What if tax rates go up? Well, if you are in technically the same tax bracket, you may actually pay more taxes in retirement if tax rates go up, right? So it just depends. Most people don't want to retire until they have about the same lifestyle in retirement, right? Again, there's exceptions, always exceptions, but keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But those are the principles. Those are the principles to follow, okay? If you're early to middle of your career, probably Roth, it probably makes sense. If you're late career making a bunch of money and you're not going to have that much income in retirement, yeah, do traditional. Get the tax deduction now, okay? If your income is really high now and it's probably going to be lower later, maybe do traditional. If your income is relatively low and it's going to go up a lot over time and it's going to be higher later, then maybe do Roth. Those are the principles to think about and to follow. Again, but it's a preference thing, right? These are all the numbers and everything, but there's so many unknowns, like what taxes are going to be. I would simplify it. Simplify it for yourself. Hey, look, do I want to take care of the taxes now or later, right? Do I want to take care of the taxes now or later? Am I willing to pay the taxes now at whatever rate I'm at? Or do I want to kick that down the road and see what happens then? Right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Simplify this for yourself and make a decision, stick with it, and you'll do well over time. If you come up with a plan you're comfortable with, confident with, and you move forward, you'll do well over time. So I hope that's helpful. Hopefully that gives some context on when the Roth TSP makes sense and when it doesn't make sense. And again, it's a preference thing. Make your decision and run with it. Do the best you can. Saving into the TSP is always way better than not saving into the TSP, whether it's traditional or Roth. Save as much as you can. Do the best you can. And we will rock and roll from there, okay? I hope you have a great day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for investing in yourself, and have a great rest of your day.